Hey guys, it's your pal Joey T coming back at you with another vlog, and this movie that I'll be talking about is Leap, or as it was originally called in Europe, Ballerina, with a capital, so it's more like Leap or Ballerina with capitals, just to re-emphasize that that's what the movie is called, whatever. So I wasn't really looking forward to this to start with because it was a Weinstein produced film, and given the Weinstein's track record when it comes to animated films, they're not that good. Honestly, they're definitely better when it comes to live action. Tarantino, they collaborated with Tarantino a dozen of times, but for some reason, some odd reason, animation is just not working for them. And I think this year, as far as like animation goes, it seems like all the good animated films came out a little bit earlier this year. You had Lego Batman film, and then you had Lego Batman film. And then you had a Lego Batman film. Captain Underpants is kind of like a fringe film. For some reason, it just showed up amongst some pretty bad animated films. Like, before this, I was talking about Emoji Movie, and then the week after that, it was The Nut Job 2, and now I come at you with Leap. I will say that this film is not a complete waste of time, but let me go ahead and actually talk about what this film is about. So, given the trailers, if you probably saw the trailers, it's about a young girl who hopes to aspire to be something bigger than she actually is by going to a dance school and learning how to become a ballerina. She escapes from an orphanage with her best friend who wants to be an aspiring inventor. And that's pretty much the film. That's pretty much the film. That's really all I got to say about the plot in itself. I will say that the story goes in so many weird directions, some of them good, some of them bad, and some of them just flat out bizarre. Like, I'm laughing when I'm in the theater at the creative choices they decide to go with as far as where these characters go. I'm gonna start off with the good. For example, what really works about this film is the animation. Okay, not even the animation, it's really the backgrounds and the character design seems to be better than the actual animation. What I mean is that the backgrounds look very nice. They're representing turn of the century France around into the 1900s, so it's in the 1800s going on 1900s. You see the building of the Eiffel Tower, you see the construction of the Statue of Liberty, which I'm going to spoil a little bit because I really don't think that many people are going to really see this film. I'll put a time jump at some point when I'm going to go into like really big spoilers, but I will say they talk about the Statue of Liberty, and there's a little detail about the Statue of Liberty that I think they fudged up on. I won't really say what it is specifically, but if you see the movie, you're going to know what I'm going to talk about. You know what I will talk about when it comes to the fudging of the Statue of Liberty. Again, not saying what it is. I'm gonna say though, as far as Leap goes, the animation, the lighting is actually very good. The way the characters glow, it seems like the cinematography, or at least the created illusion of cinematography in this film, is actually very good. Great color palette. Every character's got their own distinct color, which I'm always a sucker for. I think that's actually a good quality as far as like, some characters you can tell by silhouette how they're gonna look, and as far as character design is okay. Not gonna go into the bad yet, but I'm gonna continue with one more good aspect that I did like about this film, which is that in the film you have a story about an underdog becoming hero, and I'm a sucker for those types of films, but I think what I really need to emphasize here is that this is almost like a sports film. And it uses sports film cliches, but it uses it to its advantage, and it uses ballet in response to that. And I think it's interesting because growing up, I didn't do ballet growing up, but I had sisters that did ballet, and I've seen them go to ballet school. I've even gone to a couple of ballets. I'm not by no means an expert, but I was somewhat familiar with the background of ballet. They make references to Black Swan, Nutcracker. One of the characters is named Odette, which is an homage to Black Swan. They even play the infamous Tchaikovsky. They must have a love boner, excuse my language here, a love for Tchaikovsky in this, because they make a lot of homages and references to Tchaikovsky's work. Yeah, sorry. Unedited vlog. You're going to have to suffer through that. The thing is that when it comes to the ballet aspect, they do really well. Going into this, I didn't do too much research on this film, but I found out that they did a lot of keyframe animation and using reference cinematography from actual ballet people, choreographers, I guess that's the best way you could talk about them. And it kind of worked. It worked really well. It worked to the film's advantage. And that aspect of it really worked. The story, as far as like the girl, I already forgot her name, that I'll get into the battle, probably talk about why, is okay. It's not great. It's serviceable. It reminds me a lot of those films from the early 2000s, the American Girl doll films. Like I said, I grew up with sisters, so I ended up watching a lot of this crap. There were the American Girl doll movies, where they were like movies tied into the characters of the dolls, and it's kind of like these young girls who aspire big dreams and go on and accomplish those dreams. That's pretty much what this film is. I don't even know if they really want to make those films anymore, because they seem kind of like a dated thing, or really a dated representation of what girls are supposed to like. But back then, that was like the big thing. I don't even know if it's even the big thing now. The American Girl doll is still relevant these days? I don't know. My sister loved Samantha. My older sister, she loved Samantha. My younger sister loved Felicity. So, I think it was Kit, the blonde one. I think they were really into those dolls. I don't even know if they're that big anymore. I don't know. But this movie was very much like an American Girl doll film. And that's pretty much all I gotta say as far as the good aspects of this film. Let's talk about what really sucks about this film. What really sucks about this film is the story. Like, I was talking about the cliches and sports film cliches and using it in the backdrop of ballet, which was okay. But every time they deviate from ballet, you got her side character who she escapes from the orphanage, who is just so mind-numbingly annoying. His story is a joke. His whole background is a joke. And what I really didn't like about his animation is that because this film originated from, you know, it was done for French audiences and then it was redubbed in English, you feel as if the dialogue just doesn't match the character at all. And it's very obvious with his character. The way he's acting is overacting, but the actor that's playing him is not overacting enough, because he wasn't actually intended for that character anyways. I really don't know the process of how they redubbed this film. I don't even know if they went back and added some stuff. But it's interesting because when you look at the facial animations, it does remind you of like old kung fu films where characters talk and the mouths don't match. And it's specific to his character, and you feel like it's because the actor is given lines and he's told to act a certain way, but because the animation was already done, it just doesn't match the actual animation. And I just could, it was specific to his character. It kind of happens to other characters in the film, but I really noticed it with him. And his story sucks, because he doesn't really have that much of a character, and he's really set up to be, you know, the love interest, or the guy who wants to get with the girl, which they really don't need to do. Just focus on the girl wanting to become a ballerina. You don't need to have a forced love interest, because that's what he is. It's a forced love interest for characters that I don't even think are like teenagers. So why do you even need to have a forced love interest? Do they even have experiences to what love is? I don't know. And when I talk about like decisions and characters, like, you got the bad guy character, you got the good guy character, and they don't really establish good characterizations. You kind of have to expect the character to hate the character by doing something, and you're like, oh, I don't like that character because she did that, versus like something that actually makes sense and makes sense to the situation. Like, for example, you got the girl competing to be the ballerina compared to, you know, our main character, and she starts off as like, you know, the evil stepsister from like Cinderella. She's just irredeemable, just a cruel little crap head, and you can tell I'm trying to be advertiser friendly by not cursing in this video. And for some, I don't even curse anyways, but for some odd reason, she's just irredeemable to the point where she does something that's pretty cruel, even by like traditional character standards. Like, you're like, oh, we gotta hate her now. No distinguishing dualities, we just hate her. But then by the end of the film, they didn't even follow through with keeping her that bad. She ends up being like, oh, I've learned the acceptance. And they're like, did you really learn? Like, if you're gonna be a straight up bad character, why don't you just be a straight on bad character, and then like last minute try to give her a change that doesn't even justify? It's like, oh, you're right, I guess I was a pretty bad person. And I was like, oh, so you really learned that? I don't think so. I just couldn't buy into that. And you notice that with a lot of characters. Like another character played by Mel Brooks, whose facial crappy one character I was complimenting, you know, character designers for his just did not work at all. And it was I guess Mel Brooks wanted to compete for a worst animation role with his late wife, Anne Bancroft, who was in Delgo, so I guess he wanted to compete and say like, hey, you did that, rest your soul, to honor you, I'm gonna do a crappy bad animated film too. I think that joke was a little off the cup, and I do apologize. Rest her soul, Anne Bancroft, great actress, late wife to Mel Brooks. But regardless of that, I have no idea why Mel Brooks was in this. I guess they were just like, oh, Mel Brooks is doing voice work again, Hotel Transylvania, let's get him to do our movie. And just didn't work. But what I really couldn't stand about this film, and it was actually like mind-numbingly just what the heck are they doing, is when they take their story and try to give you a bad guy character. Not the little girl who's trying to compete to be the, you know, the big dancer. She, her mom is like the evil stepmother, and I guess because somewhere in there they were just like, so the movie could have ended at a certain point. But then they were like, no, she's the bad guy character. We need to give her a bad guy ending. Make her try to, like, stop her from doing the big performance, you know, try to throw her off of it, which is literally what they try to do with this villain. If this sounds really confusing, all I gotta say is the movie could have ended with the girl getting the role, and the movie could just ended right there. But then they were like, no, we gotta have the scene where there's a battle where the bad guy character has to fight the good guy character. And I mean, they had a climactic fight in the film where the characters are dancing off, and it's actually done relatively well, where I kind of like that they use dance to symbolize a battle, and that's a perfect way. They could have just ended the film. They even had like the opening line that her mother, dead deceased mother, had her, and they just end the film right there. But I guess it's like, oh, we're all just over an hour, we need to make it, you know, add another 20 minutes. So what do we do? Most animated films have battles with bad guy characters. Let's just throw in a battle with the bad guy character, and it is so out of left field. I was cracking up at how crappy that was. I was just like, what are they doing? Why did they have to put that in? Just, you could have cut that whole scene out and it wouldn't even have mattered, because right afterwards, like, oh, we're back to the ballet and everybody's perfectly fine. It's kind of like how in Back to the Future Part 2, when Marty goes back in time to fix the mistakes that Biff made, and he's going back to the Future, the first one, and he's like revisiting those moments where it's like, you could have cut that out anyways, and it wouldn't have mattered anyways. It's just the film. It's like his contribution didn't really do much, but for some reason, it was kind of interesting how they incorporated that into the film and the whole idea of time travel. And it's like, but you don't need it. And that's kind of just what that ending felt like. You just didn't need that ending. A lot of stuff that was, and that's just one example. In the beginning, they had something similar to that too, which I really won't go into detail. But the overall biggest, goofiest thing about this film is, and the thing I was praising earlier, and I kind of mentioned before with that one character, was the animation. The facial animations, just when they don't work, they don't work. And I think it comes down to one thing. The characters are animated to be over the top and goofy, whereas they're humans. And I think the problem I had going into this film is that you have a film that focuses on human characters, therefore their animation is not going to be that over the top and goofy, ooh, like Disney. They make over-the-top characters, but they keep human characters very human and lifelike animation. That's why I was praising the ballet, because it was lifelike. They were actually using reference and keyframing, using a keyframe animation technique to capture the essence of ballet, and that was where the movie did really well. But then you have moments like, you know, characters doing faces, and it just didn't correlate to that type of character. It's like, it's a human character. Animate him like a human. Don't animate him like you're just going to go into Hotel Transylvania all of a sudden. It's like, no, you want to keep one consistent animation style, because it just doesn't go with that character design, which is not bad. It's just they weren't doing the right animation for it, I guess, because they want to like compensate for a certain type of style, and it was just very confused. And, you know, as much as I wanted to recommend this film, I mean, if there's going to be an audience for this film, it's probably going to be that audience that the American Girl doll movies were trying to go for, which is the young preteen girl who, and I guess, you know, if you grew up and you like ballet, I think you're going to get a kick out of this film. In fact, one of the things about this film reminded me of is, like, remember that sequence in Fantasia when the hippos are dancing to Dance of the Hours? I think that's what it's called. I want to revisit that scene because I really like that scene. It's good, the hippos and ostriches and crocodiles, but it was a very I kind of want to watch that scene again because of how much it stuck to me, and I think of ballet, and that comes to my mind. I guess that's how my mind works. I don't know. Explain that to me, YouTube. Weird comments to follow after saying that. But all I gotta say is, wasn't crazy about this film leaving it. A lot of confusing, mind-numbing things. Would I recommend this film? Not really. It's not even that good. I would say it's a mediocre film with some good qualities that really don't justify it to be like, you know, something you pay to go see a movie. I mean, but if you happen to come across it, I don't think you're gonna be annoyed. In fact, the things that you will be annoyed, you'll probably find funny. Kind of like in an ironic sense, like that ending, like those, like, oh no, we gotta have a kids movie, we gotta have a kids movie ending. Oh, and I said I wasn't going to really spoil this film, but I think I actually gave away some big things. I don't know. This movie was interesting. I would just say that it was an interesting experience. So, thank you for watching this vlog. Comment below, let me know what you think. Tell me if you saw this movie, and if you agree or disagree with me, or if you had any things that you were not too looking forward to. I did a giveaway in one of my videos before. I'm going to do another giveaway. So, this one's going to be a little bit special. You remember if you guys watch my reviews, I reviewed Food Fight. So, in the comments below, I'll be doing a random draw. If anybody comments Food Fight with a capital, kind of like how Leap is Leap with a capital, I'll put you in a draw for a giveaway of my DVD of Food Fight. Maybe I can inspire people to talk about this really crappy movie. I mean, I'm not the first person to do that. There are plenty of other YouTubers that talked about Food Fight, but it's an experience, to say the least. If you want to get into like animation reviewing on YouTube, I think you should at least owe yourself to watch good and bad and just give yourself a wide taste of stuff. And I just want to pawn off this film. I really hate it that much. I'll give away the video. I'll give away the DVD, and I'll put a special note in there. Kind of like I did with my Funko, which thank you, Lucia, for participating. You won the Funko Pop, and I'll be doing it again. Just comment below. You put in a drawing to win a DVD copy of Food Fight, if you're interested. If not, then you don't have to comment saying Food Fight. You can just comment for the sake of commenting, I hope. Thank you, guys. Those are my thoughts on Leap, or Ballerina, or whatever you want to call it. And thanks for watching this video. Take care, guys.